to give a load of validation. Hello, and welcome to F Them Fish, AuDHD for Grown-Ups with me, Callie Barrett, and
Jayne Girton.
Yeah, I think I need to add some more hyperbole in. And the amazing, the fantastic, the sparkling
Jayne Girton. Thank you. I was feeling a little bit flat from that intro, but now we're back on track.
Sorry.
We're good.
Yay, back on track. How you going, babes?
I'm getting there. I crashed really hard the last week. You'll notice if you're watching this divine cold sore I've got rocking in between my nose and my lip.
Beauty spot. It's a beauty spot.
I would say yes, it is, but it's painful. So if I can't smile too much, I'm going to have to remind myself that I can't smile too much. How are you?
How about smiling like this?
Perfect. You look amazing. Beautiful.
Have you seen that thing about... Okay, sorry, listeners, we've done it again. So you are listening to F Them Fish, AuDHD for Grown-Ups, and we are here talking about, you besties, basically. We're your ADHD besties who are going to be talking with you about all the stuff you want to talk about. We're going to be going deep on some things and absolutely shallow as fuck on others. So, the smile. Have you seen that thing, talking of shallow, where your model look is you smile without your eyes, or you smile or something, and then you have to make your eyes go flat or something. So you smile. No
I've
teeth.
never heard of this. And also, my brain does not compute what you just said. How does that work?
I can't remember. Look, PB told me to do it. And honestly, all you do is you just look like you've got resting bitch face. That's all it looks like. You just kind of smile without your eyes. And
I feel like that's my standard.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Anyway, if anyone can remember, let us know, because we obviously do not. So it's been a rough week, you reckon?
Yeah, for me, yes. For me, I completely crashed when we got home from Sydney. I couldn't move for days. I knew I would come down. I didn't realize how hard I would crash and how run down I would be and how much my whole body had been storing. I don't know if it was stress or anxiety or what, but just a lot of pent-up energy and all the things that we had to do and all the organization and everything. So when I got home, crashed completely. However, in my sick leave and my absence from work, I did manage to do some house organization, and it's looking pretty good at the moment.
Yay, love that. Oh my God, that actually can take me straight in, if I may, into, I don't want to talk about an ADHD tax this week. I wanted to talk about an ADHD bonus, because what I did today was I went into and organized, we have a linen cupboard that I apply regimented rules. My TISM sets that linen cupboard up. It's beautiful. It's like I've got towels, and I've got the towels by category, right? Now, they are categories that I've effectively made up. But there's mine and Tech Guy's towels. Then there are the kids' towels. Then there are guest towels. Then there are beach towels, right? They are all very, very different things, right? So, and they're all color-coded. Everybody's got a different color, because that's the only way. I'm not here for communal sharing of things, because frankly, I look after my stuff better than teenagers do. So I'm not here for then having to pull out a towel that's covered in whatever, fake tan or any other thing where it's been smushed around the floor and got, I just don't want a towel like that. But you do you, boo, on your towels. And you can have your towels that are your color. And also because I can't remember the name of it, but there's a thing where the aesthetics, the way things look, are important to me, right? As in with the balance thing. Anyway, that's not the important bit, because the ADHDers in my house destroy my system in that linen cupboard, you can imagine, right?
I can. It happens in my house too.
So where people just open the cupboard and they just stuff things in.
Wherever something fits, if it fits, it sits.
And then, because it's not folded properly, of course, it doesn't all fit, because it's nowhere near a big enough linen cupboard for the size of house I have. And it just then gets too full, so then the only space is a little bit right at the front, and everything just gets put on there. Just chuck it all in there, and we'll stuff it in between the shelves, and it doesn't matter. And then you can't find anything, and then you're complaining that there's no hand towels. Anyway, so whatever.
So you organized it all today.
Yeah, but what I did was I actually pulled it out about 3 days ago, and then just left it all on the thing. And I do the thing, right, where here's a hack. Everybody stand by, grab a pen or press record, because I put all of the sheet sets or all of the quilt sets all inside a pillowcase. So
We do that
I
too.
use the pillowcase for it, right? Massive hack. When you started doing it, how much better is it? Your pillowcases are there, your sheet sets are there. So you can just grab out one thing from the linen. So it all just sits inside the pillowcase. I tried the thing of getting the little bindery things, doesn't work for me. So inside the pillowcase, stack them on, and you just pull out the one. Right?
So
That's
much
nice.
easier.
So much easier.
And do you just get that feeling of complete joy when you look at it and it's all organized?
Yes.
Yes, me
So
too.
good. Yeah.
I am the person, those who know me will know how much I love a good packing session and a good organization session. Stipulation, when I am in the right headspace and I'm not too tired or too busy or it's not in a rush or whatever, I love it. So over the last few days, I've opposite of Craft Goblin and like reined it all back in and reorganized. And I reorganized like 3 rooms in our house so that everything has a beautiful place and I can see it all. And it's just laid out perfectly. And I love it. It makes me feel happy.
And are they all designed around the way you actually use your home? Because that's one of the things that I've been doing. So way back in the day, I had an interior design business. But one of the things I always used to do for it, because of course I did, one of the things I always used to do for it was prepare houses for sale. So help people do that. But also, and one of the things I do now, and I love it, but I only do it really for people I know because, you know, I'm very busy, but is to build systems in a house. So there's no point creating the most beautiful place that looks incredible for something if it doesn't work with your ADHD, right? Or your autism or your anything else, or just your brain and your kids and whatever, right? So that's one of the things I love to do. But you saying that when I'm having a really dysregulated day, the thing I should do is go and organize a pantry or the, stationery drawer or something, because it massively gives me spoons.
Huge difference. Yeah.
So what I did the other day, because recently we had a bunch of guests and that in the granny flat, there was a whole heap of linen had been taken there. And so all the linen was mismatched because I didn't take it there. And I did. And so it was all mixed up, easy for me to say, right? And nothing was together. And things are now stained. And oh my God, quick side quest. Side quest. When you stayed at my house, I only just found out, like after you had gone, that you were given sheets that have mascara stains or something on them and the pillowcase. I was furious.
Why?
I was like, we do not give guests sheets that are ruined. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but I left a very bad TripAdvisor review.
I was disgusted.
I wasn't.
I have very, very specific guest bed linen. You went and gave them the teenager bed linen that has stains on it. I mean, it was makeup, let's be clear. And it had also been through the wash. And I will also tell you that the reason it goes into that pile is because then I do my stain treatment and I totally put it on a boil wash and it doesn't come out. That stuff never gets used for guests. Never.
Well, it made me feel like I was part of the family and that it was lived in. So,
I mean, if you really loved me, you would have said you didn't notice, but that's fine.
No, I noticed because Tech Guy pointed it out to me.
Oh, because I probably gave him a bit of a roasting about it. Oh, no.
No, beforehand.
Left. Yeah,
Tech Guy pointed it out to me and I was like, okay, thanks for pointing it out to me.
I love that he knows me well enough to know that I was going to lose my shit about it, right? We don't. I have a real funny relationship with the guest thing. I've realized if somebody's a guest, they get the best of everything you have. The end, right? Like, it took me a really long time here in Australia to stop, like, when I had tradespeople over, not to basically put on a full English breakfast and get special cakes in for them. You know, like, people would come to my house and I'd be like, right, well, they're going to be here for a few hours. And I'd be like, all right, do you want a sandwich? You know?
I think we've talked about this before because I will go, do you want a cup of tea? Like, my beautiful cleaner will come over and she brings her own like can of mother or something. And I'm like, do you want a coffee? Do you want a tea? Have you had enough water today? Do you want to hydrate? Like,
do you want to just chat? Because I'm feeling a little bit like this isn't okay.
Yeah. I have way too close
to anymore. Let me clean for you.
Honestly, I've done that for them before. I'm always like, if you don't feel like it, just don't do it. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to work on that.
Yeah. I was going to be honest. I actually don't have a cleaner anymore because I can't afford one. But like, I could do with one with the amount of movement through the house that there is and the amount of people that are regularly in and out of the house, but I can't afford one. I wish I could. I think they are certainly not a luxury. They are, for many, many people, an absolute necessity, right? So I have got to the point where it's a necessity that I have had to make choices around since leaving my delightfully paid job and having to earn my own money. Like, I mean, I always earn my own money, obviously, but going from being paid as a senior executive to starting your own business, you have to make choices. And I want to just acknowledge my exceptional privilege in that whole conversation.
I think, but it's fair.
Adjusting.
Like, we are not in exceptionally paid jobs, but we both decided a while ago for us to maintain a life where we are busy, we have to make accommodations, we have to make adjustments. And the day that I made it okay for myself to say, I don't need to be the perfect housewife as well as working and doing everything else, the day we got a cleaner was probably one of the most freeing days of my life.
It's amazing, right? And it can stop so many arguments and things like that as well, and resentment and everything.
And shame.
So anyway,
I'm the worst at shaming myself. Like, she just does our bathrooms and our deep clean kitchen. That's it. Everything else we do ourselves. Not as often, I'll be honest. But
of course.
Anyway, we've digressed.
Yes, we have digressed. Anyway, back to my cupboard. So I was sorting out my cupboard because I haven't still got to the story yet because tangential thinking, am I right? Anyway, in the bottom of my linen cupboard, there's a really big shelf and I just shove shit in there, right? And I have done over the last few years. But I had this cabin bag, it's like one on wheels, little handle thing. It's got to be a good 20 odd years old, right? So I had it when I emigrated from the UK to Australia. So it has in there all these bits of fabric and stuff that I've collected over the years, some from when I had my interior design business and I would, you would stage a house and have bits of fabric. Anyway, so I pulled them out. And the ADHD bonus I want to talk about is memory, because it can be really hard, right? Working memory challenges. But actually, when something's out of sight and out of mind, and I've talked about this before in regards to grief, and that's not a bonus episode of it, if you like. That is not necessarily a bonus thing. It's kind of double-edged, that one. But this one, when I'd completely forgotten they existed, and now I've got the absolute joy of rediscovering them again, right? And some of them, I had to wash them all because everything freaking stank so musty, right? Like there was, some of it still looks brand new, but it stinks because it's 25 years old and has probably been in this bag for a good 20, right? So there were bits of fabric that, some of it which is 10 years old, that was in PB's room when she was a baby. But there was these pieces of fabric that are from literally the late 90s, early noughties. And they are awesome. And I was so happy to find them. And I was like, how good is it that I had forgotten these existed?
Oh my
and
gosh.
Now I get the joy. They're hanging on my line at the moment. Otherwise I'd get them and show you because they are absolutely sensational. One of them is bright red with big chunky outlines of melons and
amazing.
It's so 90s kitchen, right?
So
and the other one I've got two that are this yellow fabric. One of them is the sheer version, so a kind of opaque version, and the other one's the solid version, and it's like this pale yellow background, pale orange yellow kind of background, and then it's got these 50s, the 50s, 60s, maybe 60s, 70s actually, where it's like a circle with another coloured circle around it and then another coloured circle around it. And it's like that. And they're so cool. And I was
I love
oh my
this.
God, these are so good. So I pulled them out. I was like, hey kids, look, we can redecorate the rooms. None of them were up for it. I don't know why.
Rude. But I love that we had the exact same moments in our organization, because I've just done all of my craft stuff and I didn't realize the big rack cupboard thing that we had outside for our gardening stuff, which wasn't working out there. So I pulled it all inside. Didn't realize how big it was and how much it stored. So all of a sudden I was like, I've got all this space where I didn't have any storage before. So I pulled everything out of my craft stuff. Amazing. And in that was a couple of big bags of fabric. And I had forgotten all of the fabric that I had for all my craft things. And similarly to you, it's not 20 years old, but I found stuff that I bought randomly in this little thrift shop that we found on my birthday a couple of years ago. There was some fabrics from Istanbul from when we went there.
Istanbul,
and it was all this
Constantinople, So
Yep, that too. It was all of this fun things that I remembered that I completely forgot existed. And it reminded me, remember, I don't know if you're like me, but when you're a kid, and now it makes so much sense when I look back at it, I could never clean my room without getting completely sidetracked. And anything I opened or played with or tried to organize, it would remind me of things, or I'd have fun, or I'd want to play or whatever. And it was like that. And I've had this really amazing moment of, normally I'd be overwhelmed if I was busy and stressed and I had to organize it really quickly. But I had time. So I just sat there and I'm pulling all these fabrics out and I'm organizing them, and now they're color coded. And I just kept thinking about Istanbul and when we went on my birthday trip and all these fun things. It was great.
That's so amazing. And also, Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul. I can't hear the word without immediately needing to sing that song.
I don't know what that song is.
It's by a band called Small Faces. It's very old. And I love this. I also had a bit of a childhood memory unlocked as well, because I found heaps of buttons in this. I found a big bag of like shoelaces, like all different colors, said they're going to be fun. I found things like pendants off old necklaces that I'd had as a teenager, where I'd maybe snapped the necklace. And so I found all these like just cheap ones from like Topshop or whatever. But yeah, I found those. And they are everywhere again now, you know, like the real gothic looking crosses and like they're off chokers and things like that. And I also like remembered then when I found all these buttons, it like unlocked this whole memory of when I was a kid and my mum had a button box. And I used to, and it used to be color coded because, hey mum. And I remember I used to have such joy in reorganizing and color coding, which it already kind of was. So I'd upend it all and then just reorganize and color code.
Oh my God. This was your childhood.
How did they not know?
How are you not the saddest person in the world that was your fun times as a child?
Look, I had a great time. I also, my mum's sewing machine, my mum was an incredibly talented sewer, like dressmaker stuff. She made all my clothes when I was a kid. But because I was really long and thin, so like nothing would fit me in the leg and around the waist. And also we were poor.
I was the opposite problem. Short and squat.
I used to get called lucky legs. Lucky they don't snap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
that's not
upside
nice.
down golf club. You know, I look like a golf club.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, all sorts of things. But yeah, so my mum had this sewing machine, and when I was really little, so probably like 4, and I still remember it. Like, I used to have it was like this, almost like a wicker looking, but it was not wicker. Obviously, it was like that fabricy thing, you know, from like the 80s, where it looked like all different shades of brown with some white and black kind of little threads thrown through. It was like that type of thing. I don't know what you call that, but whatever that is. And it used to have like this plastic handle on the top, just a carry handle. And I used to pretend I was, because my mum made all the dresses for the local school for their school play. And they're doing not Cinderella. What's one where she pricks her finger? Sleeping Beauty. And I had gone to rehearsals with my mum on some of it. So I'd heard some of the songs and I was like, let's say 3 or 4. And I used to play with this handle, flipping it backwards and forwards, singing the songs as if it was because I knew mum sewed on it. So I was like, this is the spinning wheel. And I used to flip this handle backwards and forwards, singing spin, wheel, spin, turn, wheel.
Once again, coolest kid ever.
Right? I don't know. I don't know how I wasn't.
They give a load of validation.
I can show you something fun that we had made. Look, watch this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Can you see
What
it?
is that?
And a blackbird.
What are they?
They are stickers.
Oh, stop it.
Yes, so we'll make sure you get some. But we got stickers for everyone. And also, Tech Guy got them. I cannot claim anything at all. Tech Guy got them. He was just like, I got your surprise. But then they didn't arrive until this week. But look what else he got me.
Need I remind you, Tech Guy is not here, so we can claim all the credit.
Love it. Claim all the credit. Sorry. Look what I got. Look, F them fish stickers. The little octopus.
Love them.
It's so good. Anyway, they're
cute.
really good. They're very, very good. They're very, very expensive. You know.
Damn it, Tech Guy. But thank you. As well.
No, they're amazing. I think that's I just assumed stickers cost like 10 cents. Apparently they don't. They don't. Not for good quality ones.
Maybe back in 20 years ago when you were looking at those fabrics. Maybe.
All right. So guess what else I've got? Since we're on a nostalgia run, Aldi currently have these like lolly bags, which is weird calling them that for everybody who's not from Australia. Sweet bags for like British
candy
ones.
bags.
Not
Love
candy.
hearts and
But they're proper,
fizzes.
yeah, but they're proper ones and they're big size. So I was going to eat some on mic. Probably wouldn't be great.
That would
But
be the
they're
worst
proper love
sound ever.
hearts.
Oh, I
They're
love
not,
that.
I'm just going to open them. You're all welcome to join me. I want to see what the top one says. Oh, look, it's a smiley. You can see that.
Oh, that's a bit of a disappointment.
That's really disappointing.
That feels like a modern emoji version.
Right.
Virgin.
We do, however,
Version?
the next one is classic thing. It says smile. I don't know if you can see that.
Smile harder. You look prettier when you smile.
So we've got a smiling emoji and a smile. Look, third one, and I swear to God, I'm just going to hoof these in the bin. I thought that said I'm shit, but hang on, look what it actually says.
Eat shit? I can't read it.
It says I'm shy.
Oh.
I thought it said I'm shit.
These are not the traditional love heart messages.
No, they always used to say smile, and those used to have I'm shy and stuff like that. But I've seen these recently, but they were called friendship hearts or something like that instead of love hearts. Won't eat them, even though I want to.
You can have one later when I read one of our listener stories to you, because I got one and it's a good one.
Do it now, unless there's something else. Hang on, I'll tell you what I'll do a transition-y noise. Ready? And then you can read it. How does that sound? We got to figure out a signal for when we do our transition-y noise so I don't keep doing it over the top of you.
They give a load of validation.
Okay. This came in from a listener that has the tagline, TLDR, how do I handle RSD when it comes to my boss? Okay. Hi, my name, yes, we can use a name. My name is Natalie, and I'm also in the super fun late stage diagnosis club. Do we call it LSD? Too real? I think that's fine.
Oh my God.
And I'm living my best neurodivergent era now. Love that for me. First of all, thanks for becoming my new neurosparkly besties. Anytime, girl, anytime. I am loving listening to a podcast that chats about neurodivergence in real life rather than from a medical perspective. I listened to your last ep, and the not enough feeling and the rejection sensitivity hit me so hard, especially when you spoke about intention and how you perceive it. I can't remember the term you used. Oh, there's an extra word in there, classic. You used, but something. We love you, Natalie. About assigning intention. Anyway, I've been feeling really rejected at work lately, but now I'm wondering if it's my perception or if things have changed and I'm actually being rejected. I used to have a great relationship with my boss and saw that others didn't have the same, but I figured it was more about them as individuals and the way they worked together. Now I feel like that has changed and I'm feeling so unsteady and not sure what to do. If you're still reading this far, I appreciate you. Love what you do. Natalie.
Oh, Natalie. Oh,
first of all, love Natalie. Yes, we're going to call
Natalie.
it LSD.
Yes. I side quest. I dedicated my International Women's Day LinkedIn post to the Late Diagnosis Club. So LSD, what does it stand for? Late stage diagnosis. That sounds like late stage. That sounds. I don't know if that's the thing.
Well, this was Natalie's term, so we're just going to roll with
Natalie.
it.
Yes.
Natalie's in our LSD for now. And yes, rejection sensitivity from the boss. That's a massive one. I know I felt that before. Callie, I want to throw to you first because I read it.
I think so. We know that if I can stats on this for a bit, we know that from the recent there was a recent workplace study that was done last year. I think it was EY did this one that said the most important relationship you have at work is with your immediate manager, right? So if you're neurodivergent and you have a good relationship with your direct supervisor, then effectively you have a good workplace experience. Whereas if you have a bad one, then you have a shitty workplace experience, right? So when you feel that you're being rejected by them, it is actually beyond just this person maybe isn't going to be my best friend. It goes beyond that. It actually completely affects your whole workplace experience. So Natalie, this is shit, right? When you're feeling this way. Now, I will say I do work with people that sometimes they are imagining it, right? Or imagining it sounds wrong. Sorry, I want to rephrase that. It's that perception piece where they have maybe felt a tone shift on something that they weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And then we interpret what that tone shift means. So rather than actually knowing from the source what it means, we interpret it and we assign intention. That's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so I do think there is if you've always had a good relationship before, Natalie, potentially there is a ritual that you've had before, whether it's a one-to-one, whether it's a regular Friday coffee, whatever it might be. There's a ritual that you might have with this boss that you can ask and just, or find a way to and practice this before you do it. Write it down. Write yourself a script almost. Don't, not to read out word for word, but just so that you've got an idea of what it's going to look like, and build yourself some responses in reaction to a number of potential responses from them, right? It sounds
Yeah.
really fake, but there's real neuroscience behind the practice.
Yeah.
And then just say, look, has there been any change recently? Is there anything that you'd like me to do differently? If you don't frame it as a deficit, frame it as hey, in a really constructive, I'm a person who's really open to growth and I love to make sure that I'm growing type of thing. Is there anything you'd like me to do a little differently? Is there anything that has come up recently on reflection? Just wondering if there's anything that I might need to
I love
adjust my
this.
approach to. That's how I would approach it. You have to be prepared. If you ask the question, you've
To
got to
hear
be
the answer.
prepared for the answer. Yeah.
I think if it was me, I might even have a little step before this. So you mentioned some of the research that's just come out recently, but we also know neurodivergent people are exposed to 20,000 negative
Yeah.
things in their formative
Pieces
years.
of feedback. Yeah.
Pieces of feedback, more than neurotypical people, for example. So we are kind of conditioned and inherently own this space of, we look for those tone shifts and we look for the patterns that have changed, because that's what our brain will pick up and recognize. If it's me, and what I would try to do is, if I have a good enough relationship with that person, which Natalie, it sounds like you do, you know them, you feel like there's been a tone shift, you feel like there's been a change, I would take the step first to look at it with empathy and compassion and say, what's happening with this person? And if you
100%.
if you have that relationship, maybe just check in with them, not even necessarily in a formal way, but hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Is anything going on that you want to talk about? Obviously, keeping those borders of professionalism and not.
Yeah.
And sometimes they won't want to talk about it, and that's fine. Sometimes they'll say things that you can't change anything about. But sometimes I believe that they may not understand their influence and their impact on you. So even before you get to the point, for me, I think, before I got to the point of saying, what have I done? I might try to understand from their perspective what's going on with them, so that I can kind of, even as I'm saying this though, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because I know I have done that so many times to other people that it no longer is about me and what I can do. It just all becomes about this other person, and they lose sight of the fact that it's a two-sided relationship. So I think potentially it's a little from both.
Yeah, I think you're really, really right there. I absolutely back you on that. And you really should be is this anything to do with me at all? Is there anything? Maybe they're going through a relationship breakup. Hopefully not Natalie's boss, but maybe there is something. Maybe their pet just got sick. It could be anything, right? They could be getting grief from up the line that, where they're being told they're not performing well enough. It could be anything, right? And so it is important to try and decenter. Really good call.
But it's a hard position to be in. We feel you, Natalie. I hope it gets better. I hope that the things that we've helped to advise might help you.
Yeah, and really write those scripts, right? Like, it's that idea of, okay, so if I say, is everything okay? Is there anything I can help with? Anything that you've got additional that you would really appreciate some additional help with? Just checking in. I always like to say, look, I'm just checking in, just Callie as a human, checking in with human, just Natalie as a human, checking in with you, Natalie's boss.
Put on my human hat right now.
Yeah. Because one of the things is leadership can be really lonely.
Yes.
Right? Like, because you referenced it, you don't always know the impact that you have on other people. And sometimes you are hyper aware of the impact that you can have on people. And we all know there's this whole thing of safe vulnerability as a leader, and that's really important. You can be vulnerable, but if you're falling apart, even
Mhm.
if your team love you, they will start to get burnt by it, right? So
Yeah.
as a leader, you know this and you walk the knife edge. So leadership can be super duper lonely. And I often used to say to my bosses, look, I'm just checking in with you. I know it can be really tough when you're the
Mhm.
person in that position. So if there is anything I can, without prying, I'm not, trying to be nosy, but if there is anything I can lighten the load for it, or let me know, and
I feel
like having
like
that kind of thing.
there is, and that's such a good point. There is, uh, I think, a shift in the way that our workplaces and our generations are moving in that space, because I know, having come from a social work background and a youth work background, I was taught unequivocally, strongly, boundaries. You do not make friends with your clients. You do not make friends with your superiors. You have boundaries. You can be friendly,
Wow.
but not friends. And so I've always retained that. And I had a very, very strong learning experience that was quite negative when I was in uni that really embedded it. After that, I've always struggled with, as a leader, knowing how to really live that authentic vulnerability with those boundaries in place. So I can kind of relate to that loneliness in leadership perspective. But I
Yeah.
also see that every time I was vulnerable, it really opened up the space for my team to be. And I see the opposite now, where if I don't have vulnerability from the top, I don't get that same connection. So it's so
Yeah. It's
interesting. I could talk
really
about this forever.
Me too, because it's really, really, really tricky because of the fact that I've been in that leader position just like you, and I have built such a safe space that I could tell you the exact moment when I overstepped on or overshared on the vulnerability. Right.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn that a few times where, I mean, my early career was as a police officer, right? And that was very much a case of us and them. And that was a, protective element. So we policed in the UK very much in community with the community. It was quite different there to Australia at the time when I then joined the Australian police. But um, it was very much a case of, though, if you are in a riot, your face does not show the fact that your feet are on fire. So it's very much that your face is impassive. So,
Mm.
that is and you hear the most gruesome things. I like, and you might be the only lifeline for a person who is seeing and being confronted with the most terrible thing that's ever happened, right? So your face has to be a blank canvas. Otherwise, if you're there, I've had times where I desperately wanted to just cry with the people, like I really did. Something awful would have happened and I just wanted to hold them and cry with them, right? Can't
Yeah.
do that as a police officer because you're the one who's supposed to fix things. And although you might not be able to fix that thing, you're supposed to be able to, make things better. You're the one in control. And and people can't feel safe to completely let go unless they know someone else has got it, right? So, as a police officer, you
Really?
couldn't. So
Do you still believe that?
100%. Yeah. As a leader, that's actually really critically important. I have done it all different ways, I can say honestly, in my own leadership practice over the decades, which makes me sound intensely old, but over the decades, I've been trying to tell PB, but getting old is a privilege. But
It
yeah,
is.
so where I have been completely aloof, or I don't want to make friends with anybody, I'll be a kind, compassionate leader, but definitely no friendship. I have found some of my best friends at work as well, still, right? And I have done the thing where I have held the line and then also done the thing where I've over disclosed and said, yeah, you know what? This is really, really terrible. I have no idea what we're going to do to move through this. And at that point, the relationship changes because even though some of those people were friends at that stage, they were like, yeah, but we still need to know that you've got it. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, we're now scared. Like we still, so yeah, there is still a thing of when you assume responsibility, this is leadership responsibility. It is on you,
Yeah.
like you have to build your teams of people who are generally, preferably, have the skills you don't. And that's why
Yeah.
I don't think a leader's better than anyone. But when you choose leadership, you choose for that buck to stop with you.
Mm.
You choose that when the chaos is happening, you will hold the line for people. You have to choose that. You have to hold a safe space, and it doesn't mean you're never vulnerable and you're never in need of a safe space. But if there is something happening and everybody else in your team is like, oh my God, we're all going to lose our jobs. We're all going to do. If you as a leader are there going, yeah, you're right. This is shit. We're all going to lose our jobs. That is so much work. That doesn't help people. You have to be like, right, okay, so let's start planning for what might happen. If something's going to happen, do you know what I mean? Like that you have to be the voice of reason. You have to be, even if you are showing that you're also really affected by this, but it's okay. It's okay, I've got you. I'm still going to have you. I'm still going to help you.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I totally
you can
agree.
Do. Yeah.
It's not a disagreement, but DJ Beach and I were actually talking about this earlier in the car. And I said something that I've said for quite a while, which is, I can understand how certain political figures were elected that we don't believe should be in those powerful positions. I will not name names.
Talking about? No, I don't know who it could be.
Throughout history and to today, I can see why. And I went back to a lot of the theory that I learned in my Master of Leadership around the different types of leadership styles there are. Disclaimer, I don't believe that the current leadership styles are as relevant as they should be in this day and age, because I do believe that it's about skills and not necessarily about leadership styles, because you should not be the one saying this is my style and everyone must bend to it. It should be about followers more than you as a leader. However, back to my point, I can see how certain leaders got elected, and I will use a good leader as an example, Jacinda Ardern, because in times of stress and ambiguity and unknown and tumultuous worlds, people need someone who has got this. People need someone to tell them it's okay. This is what we're going to do, or so-and-so is the enemy. And so we're going to just all target ourselves towards fighting together against that person. But that's done in very different ways. So one world political leader that we currently have, I wouldn't necessarily say is doing that well. And a lot of that comes from fear-mongering, and a lot of that comes from pitting people against each other and othering. Yes, thank you for the word. And then if you look at Jacinda, that came from, I may not have the answers, because a lot of what I remember of her was COVID. I may not have the answers, but I will learn with you. And I have empathy and compassion. And we saw her go to the mosque after the shooting in Christchurch, and she was there with them, and she did cry, and she did have like lots of emotion and movement. But we saw someone who really showed people, I will be there and I will lead you and we will figure it out. So I think I can see the charismatic leadership coming into it and how you need to have someone who can hold you through it. But I don't think they've got to have all the answers. And I kind of like when my leaders have more of the emotion shown.
I think there's always a line, right? If you had a leader who was constantly coming in and losing their mind about something because they were so frustrated and angry with you. But yeah, I absolutely agree. There is nothing more frustrating than a leader who never admits they don't know everything.
Yeah.
I love it. As a leader, I love being able to say to I used to, hey, one of you here is going to have to know the answer to this because I haven't got a clue, or there are people in here who are significantly better than XYZ, whatever piece this is that we're doing, than I am. So my job is to make sure you've got everything you need to be able to do that, because you're going to be better at it. So yeah,
I love saying, you've got this, it's your job. Like, you know what you're doing more than me. So yeah, if you need anything, let me know.
Yeah. How do I create the authorizing environment? Anyway, that was just a little deep dive on leadership we weren't expecting, but here we are. I suppose talk about what you know about, I guess. What I will say, if anybody listening hasn't been in that leadership position, it is really easy to get frustrated at leaders, right? It is really easy. But let me tell you, every single leader, and I have spoken with some of those world leaders that you're talking about, like I have had, very minimal but brief conversations, and I've heard them speak as well. They often will say that they get lonely, or that, that crushing sense of responsibility type of thing, right? During COVID, I was in rooms with people that were making very important decisions. And I would see some of those people having really strong emotions about that sense of responsibility and about the crushing weight they felt every time they weren't able to fix it. Because we're used to being able to have something to fix it. But leaders will, good leaders, sorry, they will be in the pit with you even if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
They give a load of validation.
I reckon we're pretty much done. But I was going to share with you, I sent you a thing today. I had a total hyperfixation moment after speaking with the neuroqueer engineers earlier on today. I was like, oh, I just want to write a song about spoons. And she was like, yeah, you should. You should. And I'll drop the music for you if you like. I can write that for you. And we can totally do a collab thing. And I was like, stop it. So I used to write a lot of poetry and a lot of music and a lot of songs and things like that. And
I didn't even know this.
During my marriage, I stopped.
Oh.
So I, when you write things, and I used to occasionally still put little bits in my sneaky little like notes app and stuff, but they weren't well received, let's just say, like the mockery that used to come. So I stopped, right? And, and so, but I was like, okay, well, cool. If I were to write about spoons, what would this be? So you then challenged me to read it to you on the pod, and you weren't going to read it at all.
I haven't.
So that you could. So for the first time ever, and I will completely edit this out and delete the whole section. It sounds terrible, just so we're clear. But if it's not terrible, you let me know what you think. And if it's not terrible, I will put it up on our socials, and I will also then send it off to neuroqueer engineers, and they will put some music to it. And Tech Guy said he wants me to actually sing on it too. So I know. I'm like, I have not sung. I used to sing a lot. I've not sung for many years. And my voice is not great. As most of you who have heard me just randomly sing bits can attest to. Hang on, the dog's losing his mind. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to have to sort that out.
They give a load of validation.
I have written this thing, and I'm really procrastinating reading it out loud now. So I will try, because it's been designed to also potentially be a song. There is a chorus that repeats.
Okay.
So it's called I'm Out of Spoons. I am not. I'm so nervous. All right. Woke up today with a blinking little brain. Body's aching, phone is buzzing. There's an unspecified pain. Got a meeting at 11, got a deadline at 2, got a mind saying no to everything I have to do. There's an alarm somewhere blaring. There's a list on the floor. There's a thought halfway formed that I think I've had before. You tell me, everybody's tired, babe. Just push through. Yeah, that's easy to say when you've got a full set of spoons. I'm not lazy. I'm not broken. I'm not a flaw in the design. I'm an overclocked processor with an overthinking mind. If I look inconsistent, that's not chaos, that's truth. Some days I've got a full drawer. Some days just one bent spoon. I've got 1 spoon, 2 spoons, maybe none by noon, spent 3 at the supermarket, 4 on being in the room. If I cancel, if I crumble, if I vanish too soon, it's not a lack of wanting love. I'm just out of spoons. So if I glitter, then go quiet, that's not drama, that is truth. Some of us have to count the days in units made of spoons. There's the spoon for getting dressed right and the spoon for making calls. Then the spoon for sounding normal when my mind's climbing the walls. There's a spoon for all the eye contact, a spoon for noise and sound, a spoon for being a professional when everyone's around. Then you ask me why I'm snappy, why I'm flat, or why I hide, why I danced all night on Friday but can't answer text tonight. That's the bit you're always missing. Energy is not a line. I can sparkle in one moment and then not have enough to shine. I'm not rude. I'm not flaky. I'm not a code for you to break. I'm 1,000 tiny labors hiding the effort that it takes. And the maths is never simple. It's a moving kind of tune, always measuring my worth against a drawer of borrowed spoons. I'm getting emotional. Oh my God.
Honestly, me too.
I'll keep going because I got a little bit more. I got 1 spoon, 2 spoons, maybe none by noon, spent 3 at the supermarket, 4 on being in the room. If I cancel, if I crumble, if I vanish too soon, it's not a lack of loving, babe. I'm just out of spoons. So if I glitter, then go quiet, that's not drama, that is truth. Some of us have to count the days in units made of spoons. Build me softer lighting. Build me time to shift. Build me room for silence, watch the whole damn story lift. It was never lack of talent, never lack of heart or will. Just a world that calls me difficult for needing different fuel. So when I say, not today, hear wisdom, not defeat, I'm learning not to set myself on fire just to seem complete. I've got 1 spoon, 2 spoons, maybe found a few. I'll keep on showing up, doing what only I can do. I'm still here, still trying, still electric, still in bloom. I don't need your judgment, love. I just need to borrow spoons. So if I glitter, then go quiet. That's not drama, that is truth. Some of us have to count the days in units made of spoons. Count them, save them, spend them slowly. Don't let hustle culture own me. I'm not failing, I am tuning exactly how I use my spoons. Oh,
I feel seen.
I can't believe that made me emotional. I didn't get emotional writing it, but when I was reading it out and I was like, oh my God, I've got tears in my eyes.
Me too.
So because that means it's good?
It's good. And I was thinking this morning about how few spoons I have, and I wish people got that. And you just put words to it.
Thank you. I sent it to Tech Guy and I was like, look, if it's terrible, at the same time as I send it to you, if it's terrible, just let me know. Just let me know, because like if it's terrible, I don't want to do anything with it, and it's okay if it is. And obviously it draws on spoon theory, which I absolutely borrowed, because I've always resonated with it.
Yeah.
But he sent me the bit and he was like, build me softer lighting, which is his thing in offices. And he had like little, crying emojis. And I was like, yeah, it was for you.
I love that. Oh, yeah, it was really good. I want to hear it again, but I won't make you read it out again. I'll listen to this recording afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. That makes me feel really good that I kind of enjoy, I'm stuck for words a little bit on myself because I didn't expect to feel that the way I felt it. I'd love to hear what other people think if you're going to say something nice, because I don't think I could handle it if you didn't.
Let's not trigger some RSD by saying anything bad.
Yeah. I'll put some music to it. I'll put it up on probably TikTok and Instagram. So F them fish, AuDHD for grown-ups, if anybody wants to find it, I guess.
Yes.
Let me know, fthemfish@gmail.com. I'd love it if you wanted to send me your poetry, actually, or any songs.
Please.
Or just your really kind thoughts.
Kind thoughts, questions, any of the above, but anything that makes us feel seen and less alone. I think that's what that poem did for me. So I appreciate you and I appreciate your words. Thank you.
Thank you. It's lovely of you to say that. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, let's end it now. We feel good. See you guys.
Let's totally end it now. Come find us. You know where the places are: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, F them fish, AuDHD for grown-ups.
I can't do any more smiling because my cold still hurts, so I'm just going to go and be really somber tonight now. Okay, thanks everyone.
Model face.
Bye everyone. Have a really great night.
Soon. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Sharing good new rediscovering things. They be clever and quick with a fair bit of sergeant sidestepping, but a step in the right direction, a slight autistic correction. It's more about interception, interpretation, and fuck they give a load of